Forbidden Door pre-sale today. It got off to an enormous start, and I definitely was glad that I hedged on Monday, because Friday we were talking about like what is the demand going to be for the show. And, I mentioned like being at the GCW show over the weekend, hearing from so many people in and around the industry, people traveling for the show. By Monday, I certainly was on board with the idea. This is going to be a hot ticket, and it certainly was. WrestleTix reporting 12,030 tickets distributed with a current setup of just over 13,600. And there are tickets AEW did confirm to us that obviously are held back for the general on sale, but you can see it's going to be a very quick sellout on Friday when these remaining tickets are gobbled up. And the end result way is that we talk about of AEW's 4 pay-per-views, separating this one of what is like their big show of the year. I think it's becoming pretty clear 2 years in a row, this is becoming the big branded event for AEW each year. When it comes to, here is a show that has no matches announced. This is at a time when it's not like an AEW pay-per-view is an automatic sellout like it once was. They did not sell out Revolution. This is a sellout based on the novelty of inter-promotion of a kick-ass show last year and the promise of an incredible wrestling show, like without any idea of what will be on this card. And this is starting to feel like this is going to become the big show of the year for AEW and for New Japan in the US, when New Japan on its own, they're going to the 2300 arena next month and to sell like 1,000 or so tickets. And here with AEW, like there is certainly each are lifting the other up. You can certainly assign who is like carrying the load here, but it is the combination of this that, it has this audience's captivation, that this is a traveling trip, that this is a market that is going to support a big show like this. It was certainly a big endorsement of the Forbidden Door concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it helps that New Japan itself maybe is seeing a little bit of a resurgence right now. I think attitudes towards the brand are that much higher. Maybe expectations of a Will Ospreay and a Kenny Omega being on the same card might heighten that as well. I also think Toronto has been waiting for a pay-per-view level event for really quite some time. We haven't had one since before the pandemic, and as a result, I feel like that is probably a big part of the reason as well. I'm sure
when it feels big, when there is a show that feels big, this is a great market for it. It's very much a major league city in that just running a rank and file show, it's not going to be your guaranteed sellout. But when something is perceived as big, this is a great market for that kind of thing. And that goes for all sports.
Yeah, I'm sure the scalpers have been waiting for something like this as well. So it'd be interesting to see how much of the tickets that were grabbed up today were on the secondary market. But yeah, like Forbidden Door, it helps that, it was a great show last year. And I think it helps that, out of the calendar for both brands, it's the one event that maybe stands out above the rest as being different. A Revolution and All Out and a Double or Nothing, there's really nothing that distinguishes those events from one or the other. If one of those events ran here in Toronto in a market that's starved for this sort of pay-per-view type of card, would it have done as well? Perhaps, but
do you think it would have been the same response if this was Double or Nothing instead of Forbidden Door?
Maybe not as fast, but it's hard to say. It really is, because I think Toronto is just that hot of a professional wrestling market that's been underserved since before the pandemic. But the Forbidden Door concept, they've introduced it last year, and it's certainly successful this year. I mean, I think we can at least say that it's a very successful idea.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, it overperformed with pay-per-view buys last year. It was an immediate sellout at the United Center. Like, that's 2 massive arenas that I will say massive in terms of like what AEW runs. Like the United Center is a giant arena. And for this setup, like they will probably, by the time we are at the show, like they should be opening up more seats probably once their production layout is all confirmed. So they could very well top 14,000 here. I don't think that's going to be a stretch at all for them. Dave Meltzer adding that they're over $1 million Canadian for the live gate. So that's around 730,000 US. A big gap with our Canadian dollar.
Yeah, it feels like it's sometimes like $100 US, but it's okay. It's we have Tim Hortons at least.
Wait, did you snag tickets today for Forbidden Door?
That I did. Yes, I did. I'll be going with a few friends. I already know a bunch of people that are traveling. I believe John Cena and Fire Frank are actually traveling here. Ahmad is from New Jersey is showing up here. It's going to be a big post meetup. So, we'll have to maybe consider doing something.
Well, there you have it. So that is the latest on Forbidden Door. And good luck if you are trying to get tickets this Friday, but I'm sure tickets will be popping up on the secondary market, and that will be a market to monitor to see how high the get-in price is for this show and how in demand these tickets are going to be in the lead up to it. Next week, everybody, it all begins. WrestleMania week coverage. We want to note off the top that we will be doing live shows Monday through Friday next week on the Post Wrestling Cafe. So this will not be in place of our free content. We will still be doing Raw and Dynamite next week. But if you are a Cafe member, you will be getting shows daily covering all of the many Mania shows. We have some guests that are going to be lined up, and I'm going to break my cardinal rule away, and we are going to announce our first guest for WrestleMania week. Joining us next Monday, if the planets align, we will be kicking off our post-wrestling WrestleMania week coverage with Speedball Mike Bailey, who is set to have quite the week in and around Los Angeles, coming off that GCW main event on Sunday in Toronto. So looking forward to having Speedball Mike Bailey on next week. Many others to come. PostWrestlingCafe.com, your place to be next week for all things WrestleMania. And then live Saturday and Sunday night immediately after each night of WrestleMania here on the Post YouTube channel. So all we ask, subscribe and circulate the word out there. The world needs more Way.
Sure, and the world needs more John, and we'll be very, very busy next week. It's our playoffs. It's our busiest week of the entire year, and we're going to do our best to make your subscriptions worthwhile.
Yeah, my whole family is sick right now, and they're all just laughing, knowing you're going to be next. You're going to be next. It's like, no, I'm not. I will avoid any illness. So anyway, that's all to come.